I get it when you're about to spend a few $100 on a home server. The last thing you want is to end up with a box that sits half filled with dust while you're still figuring out why it isn't doing what you imagined. I've been there, scrolling through endless specs, watching tutorial videos, and then realizing that the perfect model looks great on paper but turns out to be a pain to get off the ground in a real kitchen or home office. That's why I'm breaking down the Synology DiskStation DS223j the way I'd explain it to a friend who's on the fence about finally moving his media collection off a laptop and onto a dedicated NAS. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the DS223j is positioned as an entry-level 2-bay NAS for folks who need a reliable place to store photos, movies, and a few work files without diving into the world of enterprise storage. The hardware is modest, a 4-core 1.7 GHz processor, a single gigabyte of DDR4 RAM, and a single gigabit Ethernet port. That sounds like a lot of numbers, but what matters day to day is how the device behaves when you actually start copying files, streaming a show, or setting up a backup plan. Setting it up is where the first real test happens. The box arrives empty, no drives inside, no memory sticks pre-installed, so you have to buy your own 3.5-inch hard drives and pop them in. I went with two 10 terabytes drives because the marketing says the unit can hold up to 20 terabytes. The installation process is straightforward. Open the front panel, slide the drives into the trays, secure them, and then power it up. Synology's DiskStation Manager, DSM, kicks in over the network, and within a few minutes you're looking at a clean, web-based interface that walks you through setting up RAID. I chose Synology Hybrid RAID for redundancy, and creating shared folders. One of the practical strengths of the DS223j shows up when you start using those shared folders for everyday tasks. I mapped a network drive on my Windows laptop and dropped a 30 GB family movie collection onto it. The transfer speed hovered around 8,090 megabytes per second, which feels perfectly adequate for a home network running at 1 GBE. The movie played straight from the NAS on my smart TV through Plex without hiccups, confirming that the combination of the modest CPU and the 1 GB of RAM is enough for basic streaming and file serving. If your typical use case is backing up a few laptops, syncing photos from phones, or running a personal cloud for documents, the DS223j hits the sweet spot: low power draw, quiet operation, and a UI that feels like it was designed for non-techies. However, the same hardware also defines its limits. Because there's only 1 gigabit port, you can't expect any meaningful performance if multiple people are pulling large files at the same time. I tried a quick stress test. While one PC was streaming a 4K video, another laptop started a full backup of a 100 GB game library. The network became noticeably sluggish, and the video started buffering. That's not a deal-breaker for most families, but if you're a small office that needs multiple concurrent high-throughput connections, the DS223j will feel cramped. Another hidden trade-off is the upgrade path. The memory is soldered, so you're stuck with the 1 GB of RAM. For light tasks, that's fine, but it means you can't push the system into more demanding roles like transcoding multiple streams or running heavy Docker containers. The 2-bay design also caps your total raw capacity at 20 terabytes, which is plenty for a personal media library but could become a bottleneck if you anticipate massive growth or need room for long-term archive tiers. The good news is that Synology's DSM software makes it easy to migrate to a larger Synology model later. You can just move the drives over and let the system reconfigure itself. Who should consider buying the DS223j? If you're a hobbyist photographer who wants automatic backups of SD cards, a family that streams movies from a central hub, or a remote worker looking for a simple, secure place to store documents that can be accessed from any device, this unit offers a tidy package with a low learning curve. Its price point is attractive compared to higher-end Synology models, and the fact that the drives are sold separately means you can start small, maybe a single 4 terabytes drive for a test run and upgrade later. Who should skip it? Anyone who needs true performance for professional video editing, heavy virtualization, or a multi-user office environment will quickly feel the constraints of the single gigabit port and limited RAM. If you're looking for built-in SSD caching, 2.5 GBE or 10 GBE networking, or the ability to run more than a handful of Docker apps, you'll be better served by a model in Synology's Plus or XS series. Also, if you don't want to source and install your own drives, the extra step might be a nuisance. Some competing brands ship with drives pre-installed, which can save a little time if you're not comfortable opening hardware.